about a quarter of a mile from the file in a home that never flooded. I really promise you, I am not the reason why your favorite intersection is swamped or your neighborhood is getting flooded. So that's who we are, and that's what we're about. So here's our email. I'm Nancy, and Carol Kleiber is the other person who was working on this PowerPoint with me. But you can get in touch with us easily through the HoustonFloodway.org website, and we invite you to do that. Thank you very much for your attention.
For new construction, like on the vacant lot next door, your vacant lot, stupid bureaucracy to deny building of a new house 18 to 36 inches above the ground. There would be no impact on drainage. And you can go, it'd be interesting to have shown photographs from the out-of-town folks of Brace Heights area that was hit hard by Allison. They're elevated maybe 36 inches. They're maybe about this high. The floor of the house is about this high off the ground or higher. But that's just stupid. I mean, you elevate it and there's no impact. The waters can go right through.
That would be correct. I think my corollary to that, the ordinance actually precludes me, and I'm right at the DFE, but it precludes any current owner from elevating their home. The ordinance actually precludes us because it's substantial improvement for the most part. So it usually equals more than 50% of the value of the property. So when I went to city council, or I was speaking to a city council member, I said, flooding is a dangerous thing, and they said yes. And so I said it would be best if I was above the VFE, right? And they said yes. But I said your ordinance precludes me from raising my home above the VFE. And Mr. Aiken said that would be correct. So I said, when I drown in a flood, I guess my family can sue you for wrongful death. He said to the council member, we have to talk about this later, not now. That's why I said I know that they want it's a land grab. They want me out. It's pretty clear. They don't want habitability.
One more quick question. I didn't understand. I missed something evidently at first. Are you saying that the city is not using the map that the flood control district and FEMA prepared for the Harris County?
Let me be very, very clear here. The FEMA map, the firm maps, the FEMA map that I showed you is also made by Harris County for FEMA. Okay.
And it's been made in the last 2 or 3 years?
Yes. And
okay.
At the same time, they generated what I call the risk maps, the maps that show actually whether or not a property floods every 2 years, every 10 years, every 25 years, every 50, or every 75, or every 500 years. And Harris County, the greater Harris County, outside of the city of Houston, uses that map. It's FEMA approved. And there was no reason for the city of Houston not to have selected a map that actually accurately shows you as a buyer or a homeowner whether or not your property is at risk for flooding every year or every 500 years.
Have you talked to the Harris County flood control people?
All the time.
Okay, because I mean they have received and I know they've asked for more money to basically study the flood controls in that area, and so I don't understand how the city could take something different, but
well, and they understand they have like in the candy store, they have several different options of any kind of mapping systems that they could have used. They didn't even have to use a mapping system that had floodways designated. They just simply chose to do that. And understand the ordinance was written by the city and is not, and that is what's causing us grief. The floodway mapping system had been put into place. It was up and being used by the city for 3 years prior to its adoption. It was adopted in June of 2007, okay? And the city of Houston was actually using it, and it caused no one any grief. It was the inaction of Chapter 1943 in October of '06 that caused all the grief.
And back to your question, the reason that Harris County allows the map is because the City of Houston is the floodplain administrator for the City of Houston, not Harris County. So Harris County flood control has jurisdiction of floodwaters outside of the city limits. Logic would have, well, how do you get water through the city? But that's another issue. But I think that there is a lot of truth to what Nancy's saying, that government officials often get very creative in working around regulatory impediments when it's from their perspective. And if there's a grand vision afoot to create beltways, which there is, a good way to do it is to create this kind of ordinance. Because what FEMA regulations say is that development within the floodway is allowed, but the home must be flood-proof, much like putting it on a house or a floating foundation. And then there's a set of definitions as to what constitutes a flood-proof house. And most of it means that everything below the BFE must be easily repairable and cleanable. Water must flow through the structure or under the structure, and it must not obstruct or impede the floodway. And so you can deal with that architecturally or through a variety of methods. And there's no reason that development shouldn't be allowed in those areas, except that somebody doesn't want it there. So I think you're absolutely right.
Right. It's a land grab. It's a land grab. And it's my home.